Military spouse accuses me of cheating on my husband, with my husband. I've been living in Japan for a little over 2 years, with my husband. He was born here, and we decided to move to his hometown. It's a small city, but there's enough to do without getting bored. I'd describe us as an AMWF couple, Asian man, white female for those who don't know. It's not so common in Western countries, and it can feel like we are some rare shiny Pokemon as AMWF. In rural Japan, lots of staring, occasional secret picture, or even small chats. If an old lady is brave enough to approach us, it can feel uncomfortable eating at a restaurant, because kids will turn around in their seat, and stare at us the whole time with an open fish mouth. Coincidentally, there's a small US military base located in this city. The closer you are downtown, the more American families you see. I'm constantly mistaken for being military, by Americans and Japanese, which is understandable. Besides myself, I only know 5 other interracial marriages here. It's always locals who ask about my American husband, when I'm out alone, which I respond in Japanese, Watashi no ato wa Nihonjin desu. Koko ni zunda imasu, my husband is Japanese and I live here, or something along those lines. Americans never ask about my marriage, as they assume my spouse is American. When we are together in public, we do abnormal couples behavior such as holding hands. No, couples rarely hold hands in public, let alone say I love you. We don't go downtown too often since it's all pay to park, and it's a nightmare to find a place. It was a beautiful warm day for the first time in months, but we decided to battle for a spot, and walk around the shops. The crowd was heavy, since the weather was great and winter was ending. The season for new American families to move here just finished, so I'm sure this was many people's first time to leisurely walk, and shop outside. We find a parking spot, and made our way to the outside shops. Of course, we are holding hands, and casually talking and laughing. Wow. I hear this from an American woman about 10 feet behind us. You should know that, a Japanese stereotype against Americans is that, we are rudely and obnoxiously loud. And this wow was loud enough for me to turn my head around at the noise. She was with 2 other moms who had 3 kids each. They were staring at me, but perhaps, we just accidentally had eye contact at the right time. Seriously, another little home wrecker is doing this in public? Chill, woman, you're so loud even I can hear you. We find a table nearby at the Starbucks outside. We are enjoying our drinks when the same group of women approached us with their strollers in tow. They definitely had some sort of purpose with something to say to us. Let's call her Ona, woman in Japanese.